about a new apartment complex for older adults. Why neighbors say the idea is nice, but the location has got to change. And now the COVID-19 relief is on its way to cities across the U.S. We're checking in with officials right here at home on how they plan to spend that money. It's a lot of it. But first up this evening, we're following the murder investigation of a man shot and killed outside an Augusta Waffle House early this morning.
A manhunt is underway as we speak to try to find that gunman. Deputies say this is their suspect, Andrew Gaines. He's accused of shooting and killing 32-year-old Nicholas Wilson early this morning outside of a Waffle House on Gordon Highway. That's where we find News 12's Kennedy Harris. She's been following this case from the beginning. So, Kennedy, what do we know so far about this?
Yeah, this shopping plaza is pretty busy. Cars are pretty much in and out all day. But the news of an early morning shooting, it surprised many employees I spoke to today. In the early hours of the morning, gunshots erupted.
Yeah, it's just terrible. And it's sad.
Way before the sun started rising, 32-year-old Nicholas Wilson was found unresponsive in the parking lot of this Waffle House on Gordon Highway with at least one gunshot wound.
Bullets don't have no name, you know what I'm saying? You can be driving by and, and bullets fly and, we all want to feel safe no matter where we're at.
I spoke to several employees like Thomas who work in the Southgate Plaza. They were sad to learn the news, but many weren't too surprised.
That Waffle House is known for fights and all kinds of stuff. Like, it's always happening.
This employee wanted to remain anonymous, but she's worked in the plaza for 8 years. She says theft and fights are common.
There's not enough police presence in this area, especially at night, and we do have a lot of, I wouldn't say like homeless people, but a lot of people that be out here panhandling, and some are a little more aggressive than others.
And this isn't the first shooting to happen here. Back in 2017, a man told police he was robbed when he was walking out of the restaurant, then shot in the leg.
And crime is happening everywhere. We just have to be careful and stay close to God. Stay prayed up. That's what I do.
The suspect is 31-year-old Andrew Dion Gaines. According to the incident report, after the shooting, Gaines stole a car. Police say it did not belong to the victim. That car was found by police around 2 p.m., but no sign of Gaines. And overall, employees say this plaza is quiet and they do enjoy working here, but incidents like this just makes them be a little more cautious, especially when they're closing at night.
Absolutely, and our thoughts and prayers go out to that victim's family as well. Kennedy, thank you.
To weather now, giving you a live look at the gateway.
60s up until around midnight. Have a look at some rain moving our way later in the week in that full forecast in just a little bit.
Riley, thank you. While President Biden's American Rescue Plan is sending stimulus checks to a lot of pockets, it's sending even bigger checks to our cities.
Nearly $80 million is coming in between Augusta, North Augusta, and Aiken all combined. But where will all this money go? News 12's Brady Trapnell live in the studio with us to explain how cities plan to spend it.
Well, Laura, they can't use this money just for anything they want, but their options range from fixing roads to helping small businesses, and it could prevent rate increases for water and sewer. In these times, there are needs everywhere you look, but North Augusta is hoping to meet a need you may not always see.
Infrastructure, particularly wastewater and water lines, people don't think a thing about them until there's a failure.
Mayor Bob Pettit says North Augusta will get about $9 million from the relief bill, and he thinks council will look to upgrades.
Rehabilitate our wastewater lines and repave some roads in the city.
Bringing a smoother drive and a lighter wallet, likely preventing any rate increases to cover those repairs. Aiken has about $250 million of infrastructure needs, according to a city study. Their $5 million of relief money will likely go towards that and hurting small businesses.
Any money from an economic development standpoint also, I think, would be something that the council would be interested in.
I spoke with several Augusta commissioners, and they could see their $40 million fixing roads, stopping evictions, and serving the hurting hospitality industry. But back in South Carolina, unpaid bills at Riverside Village will remain.
No, there's no projection to use that money for any of the facilities in Riverside Village.
And cities have to use this money by 2024. An Augusta city administrator says he's expecting official guidelines from the federal government in the next month or so.
All right, Brady, thank you. If you're wanting to get a COVID vaccine, there are clinics happening on both sides of the river this week, so a lot of chances for you. In South Carolina, AU Health is holding a clinic Wednesday. It's at Aiken Tech from 8:30 to 4:30. If you can't make it to that one, there's another one Friday from 9 to 4:30. To sign up, you need to head over to augustahealth.org/vaccine. On the Georgia side, a lot of opportunities as well. AU has 2 clinics scheduled for their Washington Square location. The first is Thursday from 8:30 to 4:30. The second is Saturday from 8 to noon. Those usually fill up pretty quickly. Same deal though to sign up. Just head over to AU Health's website. And don't forget about this mass vaccination site. This one over in Washington County. It is still open. It's in Sandersville in the Word of Life Church, and they can vaccinate up to 500 Georgians a day. So they usually have a lot of slots available. And if you want to register, head to myvaccinegeorgia.com.
Lots of questions as these pictures make their way around social media. Maybe you've seen this. It shows a crowded gym over the weekend at Laney High School. And tonight we're learning the crowds were a private dance competition. This was not any part of the school system or the school district, and not an official school event. The organizer of the competition tells us the picture is deceiving and that masks were worn and capacity was cut to about 33%. So in a statement from Richmond County Schools, the district says the gym was rented through the facility rental process. Officials are now reviewing that policy, how many RCSS employees were on site, and the capacity to make sure safety protocols are followed at school. They're followed for facility rentals as well. We have a closer look at all of this coming up tonight on News 12 at 11 o'clock. We're also continuing to learn more about the death of a Graniteville man who died after being taken into custody. Aiken County investigators say 31-year-old Xavier Myers was arrested last Thursday for disorderly conduct after they found him here in the middle of the road holding up traffic. While taking him to the Aiken County Detention Center, deputies say Myers started hitting his head on the partition and kicking the car window, and then became unresponsive as deputies tried to put his legs in a restraint. Myers was taken to Aiken Regional, where he died 2 days later on Saturday. We're still waiting for autopsy results to determine the exact cause of death.
Georgia Congressman Jody Heiss looking to take on as well.
Happening now. City leaders in Aiken meeting to talk about bringing a new apartment complex to the area.
It'd be for adults 55 and older, and it would go right along Whiskey Road, a busy stretch. Tonight will be the first of 2 readings to review all those plans, but News 12's Will Rio tells us why neighbors in that area say no way.
The plan is to bring an apartment complex to the Aiken community right behind me in this 5-acre heavily wooded area. It's right off of Whiskey Road, where Aiken residents say is already busy enough.
27 years, yeah, we've been in Aiken. It used to take me 5 minutes to get down the road to get to Publix. Now it takes me 15 minutes because of all the traffic that's been added.
Becky Rishner lives only a mile away from Stratford Drive, where developers want to build Magnolia Apartments. She's worried this new apartment complex will add to the already congested Whiskey Road.
Keep adding all these cars and this traffic, but nothing's been done to address the overflow that we've got.
She says the city needs to update its roads before approving more housing. The apartments would be in between Stratford and Brookhaven Drive, 3 stories, 60 units, and for people 55 and up.
55 and over is one of those brackets that does need additional housing types to be able to meet the need of the city in the future years.
Ryan Bland is with the Aiken City Planning Department and says this part of Whiskey Road is ripe for development.
We have a lot of vacant property in that area that has water and sewer access, and so it's going to have some demand for development.
Even though that stretch of road sees more than 22,000 cars every day, he says this type of development won't make a big impact on traffic since elderly housing is one of the lowest traffic producers. Kathy Klein has been in Aiken for more than 20 years too. For her, this is something the community needs.
The community is growing and advancing. We do need 55 and plus housing available within walking distance of amenities.
She agrees the city needs to improve infrastructure to keep up, but in the end, she says cities will grow.
I know that development is inevitable.
In Aiken, Will Rio, on your side.
Okay, so where are we? The second reading for these plans will be in 2 weeks. That's on April the 12th, and we'll keep tracking that project for you.
A Scrubbin County man is looking at a minimum of 5 years in federal prison after admitting he distributed child pornography. A 34-year-old Daniel Bolinow pled guilty today in federal court. He was arrested back in September after an investigation by the FBI and the Child Exploitation Task Force. His charges carry a minimum of 5 years in prison, as we mentioned, a maximum of up to 20 years. A sentencing date has not been set for him yet.
A tax cut on the way to Georgians. Governor Kemp just signing a $140 million state income tax cut into law. It's the same cut we've been telling you about. It raises the standard deduction for individual filers by $800 to $5,400, and by couples filing jointly by $1,100 up to $7,100. That bill passed unanimously in the House, and the Senate passed it 35 to 15.
Some news you can use tonight. Doors are back open at Augusta Richmond County libraries. All 6 branches are now open from 9 to 5:30 on weekdays, 11 to 3 on Saturdays. Curbside pickup services are still available if you'd like to use those. But if you do want to head inside and look around in person, staff says they're making sure you're protected.
We will still be practicing social distancing here at the library. We will be making sure that everything is sanitized and cleaned. If you're browsing and you happen to pick up materials, there will be places where you can put the materials so you don't put them back on the shelves. We just want to make sure that we keep everybody safe.
Columbia County Library is also reopening tomorrow. They say they're not quarantining items at their Evans, Grovetown, and Harlem branches anymore, so you can now book study rooms as well. That also means fines will start to accrue back on any items that are overdue tomorrow and beyond. So time to dig out those old library books and stick them back in the drop-off.
Hey up.
Yeah.
Hey up.
All right, weather-wise, we had a beautiful afternoon, expecting generally nice weather most days this week, but there is going to be another front that brings up those rain chances. Have a look at it in the full forecast next.
And we probably all put off something the past year during the pandemic, but dentists say they've noticed a few big problems you need to know about. Our iTeam finds out how stress can affect your dental health.
Big Rig has breakthrough.
Senior event.
When it comes to your disability claim, speed is everything. You need that Social Security check, and you need it now.
We can help you get it faster.
Find out how when you get the strong arm. Call us today.
I guess we've all probably put off something in the past year. For a lot of people, that something is a trip to the dentist.
Unfortunately so, our iTeam found the pandemic is having an effect on our oral health in more ways than one. There's never really a good time for a global pandemic, but Corliss Lewis considers herself lucky.
I had a tooth, but it was like on a nerve cord, so one of the ones, especially for my age, they had to get removed.
Students at the AU Dental School removed it right before the lockdown started last March.
I probably would have went insane, knowing the procedure that I had to have.
She's just now getting back for her follow-up nearly a year later. The pandemic has affected just about every aspect of our healthcare systems, and Dr. Brooke Ostry, owner of North Augusta Dental Care, says dentistry is no exception.
My schedule was pretty backed up because I had to cancel so many patients.
Unexpected schedule changes have become expected, and her next new patient opening isn't until July.
So we will be full, and then the day before or the day of, we have a lot of patients fall off. I'm talking up to 18 in one day.
A study by NextSmileDental.com found 63% of Georgians and 67% of South Carolinians have delayed routine dental checkups during the pandemic.
Not all of the patients that we have trickled back in yet, so it'll be interesting.
Dr. Alan Furness is the Assistant Dean of Patient Services at the Augusta University Dental School. Patients drive from all over the state for their student clinics, but we found during the pandemic their patient numbers dropped significantly. Our iTeam requested data and found more than a 44% drop in dental appointments at AU from 2019 to 2020. More surprising, even with emergency clinics open, patients also seem to delay emergency dental care during the pandemic, with emergency treatment dropping by more than 37%. Our daily habits are changing too. The American Association of Endodontists reported 25% of people said they waited until later in the morning to brush their teeth, while 21% of people admitted they completely stopped brushing in the morning, which is concerning, especially to dentists, since a lot of us have been turning to comfort foods.
When people are stressed, their diet kind of changes to eating a lot of rich carbs, which can promote decay.
And with the kids at home more, he probably has been eating more sugar than he would be if
I know my kids have.
Mom wasn't trying to keep the boat afloat, but
just trying to get through it.
Right.
As
patients start to trickle back in from all of those missed routine appointments, Dr. Furness says he's already seeing more broken teeth.
Patients have been expressed just the continual change. It's I think taking an effect on their teeth. A lot of people clench and grind. It's not uncommon.
Are you clenching your jaw right now? Are your teeth touching? Dr. Furness says they shouldn't be unless you're eating.
Teeth are only designed to be engaged a few minutes a day.
So if you've been under a lot of stress, and who hasn't, it might be a good idea to have your dentist take a look to see if they spot any red flags. And the encouraging news is more of us are vaccinated and looking to catch up on those missed appointments. With all of the extra PPE and CDC guidance in place, dental offices are practicing more safety precautions than ever before.
One of the things that we have noticed is there's really not much, hardly any COVID spread within the school. It seems to all be coming in from the community.
We have 12 people that work here, and not one of us have been sick, by the grace of God.
I feel confident. I know that they're taking preventive measures.
Measures that may make it easier for you to get back in the chair.
Good.
Oh, great. Now I don't want my teeth to touch.
I know. I've been cognizant of that ever since that interview.
We're all talking like Forrest Gump.
I laughed to him. I was like, I have 2 kids. My teeth are always clenched.
Always.
Constantly.
Always. With a lot of dental offices backlogged as more people venture back to the dentist, getting scheduled for an appointment, that's been a struggle for some people, not to mention the loss of jobs and dental insurance, and that complicates things even more. So many layers of excuses, though.
I know. We come up with all of them. But we did ask AU. They do have openings in their low-cost student clinics for some new patient slots. So we're going to put that contact info for you on our website, wrdw.com, so you have no excuse to get back to the dentist.
This is good advice. Stop clenching. That's
Yes.
going to be the tough thing.
I know.
All right. And
Easier
brush your
said
teeth
than
in the
done.
morning. Come on. All right, Riley, let's talk about this